Hi. Everybody, the movie begins. She wanted badly to become a supermodel that she resorted to swallowing a tapeworm just to lose weight. The story began with a young woman named Vivian. To chase her dream of becoming a fashion model, she left her hometown in Iowa and moved alone to New York City. One day she received an invitation from a well-known modeling agency. They told her that if she passed the interview, she would have a chance to appear in magazines and possibly become the supermodel she had always dreamed of being. Early that morning, Vivian arrived at the company full of excitement, but as soon as she entered, she saw dozens of beautiful girls with perfect figures waiting for their turn. It was clear the competition was fierce. Only 1 in 100 would be chosen. Vivian grew nervous, but after taking a deep breath to calm herself, she walked confidently to the end of the line. Soon she started chatting with another aspiring model named Heather, and the two quickly became friends, perhaps because Vivian's style was rare. The company surprisingly asked her to interview first. Sheila Klein, the agency's director, told her to walk a few steps so they could see her posture. Walk. Vivian quickly composed herself and gave a confident little runway show. Even though her looks weren't extraordinary, her confidence caught Sheila's attention. Sheila complimented her talent, but then suddenly changed tone. She told Vivian that to become a fashion model, talent wasn't the most important thing. Body shape was. Then Sheila asked what dress size she wore. Vivian replied, size 4. Sheila smiled and said coldly, "You're too fat." Crushed. Vivian ran out of the building in tears. Heather followed and comforted her, telling her not to give up. If she could lose some weight, she might still get another chance, but Vivian didn't believe she could slim down fast enough. After thinking for a while, Heather handed her a business card. It belonged to Dr. Lau, a specialist in rapid weight loss treatments. Heather explained that she had gone there herself and lost weight successfully. Still doubtful, Vivian followed the address to a dingy little clinic. After learning about her situation, Lau prescribed her a diabetes drug called Modify, claiming it could help with extreme fast weight loss. He instructed her to inject it into her thigh once a week and to control her diet carefully. Vivian followed the plan for 4 months, and to her surprise, it worked. When she stood before Sheila again, Sheila was thrilled with her transformation and immediately signed her to the agency. Vivian's career skyrocketed. With her unique look and confidence, she quickly became one of the hottest new faces in the fashion world. Sheila believed she could soon turn Vivian into a true supermodel, but just as Vivian's career was peaking, she suddenly fainted during a photo shoot. After an examination, Lau discovered that Vivian had a heart murmur she hadn't disclosed. He furiously warned her that continuing the injections could make her heart explode. He forbade her from taking Modify ever again, but Vivian, now addicted to her success, refused to stop. She was terrified that if she stopped losing weight, her modeling career would end. Seeing her desperation, Lau hesitated, then disappeared into the back room and returned with a small ornate box. When Vivian opened it, she was shocked to find a tiny wriggling creature inside. Dr. Lau explained that it was a tapeworm egg, an ancient method for losing weight. He told her she must swallow it and not stray from her normal eating habits. Without hesitation, Vivian picked up the egg and swallowed it with a sip of oolong tea. Lau smiled and said, "You'll be down 10 pounds in a week." Sure enough, with this bizarre new method, Vivian became thinner and more radiant than ever. She rose to fame quickly, becoming the most sought-after fashion model at the agency. But one night after returning home, overwhelmed by hunger, Vivian forgot Dr. Lau's warning. She devoured an entire bottle of milk, full box of pasta and even some moldy fit. Yet no matter how much she ate, she didn't gain weight. In fact, she grew even thinner. She kept binge eating and posing glamorously in photo shoots. Everything seemed perfect for now, but as her appetite grew, her mood also began to change. "But your hairline is getting more. She's hogging my light." At first, Sheila didn't think much of it until Vivian's temper started spiraling out of control. She snapped at people for no reason, even yelling at Sheila in public. Vivian proudly announced that she had been selected by a bigger, more prestigious magazine to shoot their next cover, and that she would no longer need Sheila's help. Then she stormed off, leaving Sheila stunned. That evening, Heather returned home after work, eager to share her good news. One of her photos had been chosen by a magazine for publication, but no matter how long she talked, Vivian and never appeared. Eventually, Heather found her hiding inside the closet, wild-eyed and eating ice cream with trembling hands. Vivian suddenly screamed at her, calling her a has-been and a wannabe, and smashed Heather's camera to the floor. Heather stood frozen in disbelief. Then, as if waking from a trance, Vivian suddenly calmed down and looked completely confused about what had just happened. By then, Heather had already made up her mind to move out. Vivian begged her to stay, and in desperation, confessed everything, how she had swallowed a tapeworm to stay thin, but Heather only laughed in disbelief, telling her, "The real monster inside you isn't a worm, it's jealousy." As the next day arrived, the frail and bony Vivian prepared for her magazine cover shoot, but she had grown so thin that her custom-made outfit had become a size too large. The stylist had no choice but to clip the extra fabric at the back. Before they could even start doing her makeup, Vivian, overwhelmed by hunger, ran to the side and began devouring food like a wild animal. Her desperate eating shocked everyone on set, especially the magazine's creative director, who stared in disbelief at her grotesque thinness and frantic appetite. Unsurprisingly, her disturbing behavior and unnatural appearance cost her the job. Crushed and desperate, Vivian once again sought out Dr. Lau. When he learned that she had been binge eating uncontrollably, his expression changed. He suddenly realized how serious the situation was. He explained that a tapeworm was a simple yet powerful organism. If Vivian had maintained normal eating habits, it would have remained harmless inside her, but since she had been eating excessively, the worm had likely grown rapidly. The bigger it became, the more energy it demanded until it could begin to take control of Vivian's body. Now extremely weak, Vivian begged Dr. Lau to help her remove the creature. He warned her that surgery or using strong drugs to kill the worm could also kill her. Instead, he handed her a bottle of foul-smelling liquid and told her it would force the parasite out naturally. He instructed her to catch and dispose of the worm as it emerges. Vivian returned home, drank the entire bottle without hesitation and sat trembling in the bathtub to wait. Before long, her stomach began to twist and churn violently. Then slowly, disgustingly, a portion of the tapeworm's body began sliding out of her. Seeing the chance, Vivian grabbed it with both hands and pulled with all her remaining strength until the entire worm came out of her body. But the effort left her completely drained, too weak to move. Vivian collapsed, and in a horrifying twist, the creature she had expelled began to feed on her lifeless body. Moments later, the scene shifted. Heather returned to the apartment to pack up the rest of her belongings. She rang the doorbell several times, but there was no answer. She then used her spare key to open the door. She was hit by the stench and chaos inside. The place was littered with garbage. Then she saw it, Vivian's body lying lifeless in the bathroom and a massive tapeworm hanging grotesquely from the ceiling. In the final scene, Heather, now noticeably thinner, was seen sitting in front of Sheila for an audition. Sheila looked at her with a knowing smile and asked darkly, "Are you hungry?" Heather grinned and replied, "I'm starving." It was clear the deadly cycle of obsession was about to begin again. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.